All right, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the honor, the praise, the glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect, scattered abroad. All right, this is Brother Barbazal here with a lesson, and Lord willing, is edifying. All right, so, the title of this lesson will be, E is about to make his move, the devil is about to make his move, or something along those lines, right? Because, what Donald Trump has done, he's pretty much has, declared war on, American citizens, right? Starting with, you Jakes, all right? So, very soon, we getting ready to see all hell break loose, just straight up chaos, all right? And this all is in Esau's plan, all right, in order for him to, continue to justify these different policies that he's making, all the way to be, all the way to the chip is mandated, all right? And as we know, the UK is looking to mandate that digital token, all right, which, we all know what that's leading to, all right? And we know that, British, they'll, whatever influence they have, it falls back, to America, right? Because ultimately, the Edomites, mainly came from, Britain, going into America, all right? So this is 1 Peter 5:8. It says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour." There you go. Be sober, be vigilant, keeping watch of the times. All right, making sure we stay into the prophecies. Bringing these things out. All right, paying attention. Discerning the times that we in. All right. Let's read it again. 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking who he may devour. All right. And your adversary, the devil, that's talking about Esau, Edom. All right. And he's ready to roll on you Jakes, and whoever he got to roll on, in order to, forward his agenda. So this is Revelation 12:12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." And that's it. All right, this devil, he's seeing the chariots. All right, he's seeing the men of the Lord out and about, constantly, exposing this man, who he is. All right, uncovering, the nakedness, so to speak. All right, the scriptures going to Esau, how art thou hidden things sought up? You see? And, through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, this man knows that, he don't got too much time. All right. He's starting to do things sloppy. All right, starting to force things. All right, and it all boils down to, he trying to get everything done. Get everything done as soon as possible. Going into Jacob's trouble. All out civil war. All right, the MOTB being the answer. To everybody's problems. All right, and him pretty much exalting himself, to be like unto the Most High. But we understand, through prophecy as well, that this man will only get so far, before the Lord, intervenes in America, completely gets destroyed. See? So let's read that again. Revelation 12:12. "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." And he's coming with that great wrath. All right, we know that Esau, his blessing is the sword. All right, that goes into, his military might. All right. You could also use it to say, his technology. All right. The way he poisons your different food. All right. This man is coming with that witchcraft, the pseudoscience. All right, sorcery. All right, whatever he can to pretty much sway the minds of the people, to be divided. This man is looking for that division. But as the scriptures say, a kingdom divided shall not stand. All right, and it ain't just, the common, so-called American, that's divided. These different elites are divided too. They want the same main goal, but they may want to go about it in different ways. All right. These different top leaders, they going against each other. All right. 2 Ezra 15 and 16. Well, we can start at 14. Woe to the world that and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So this is that civil unrest. Okay. The civil unrest that that we currently see, and it's gonna go into an all out, everybody for themselves. People gonna be stealing from one another. Those who thought they were their friends gonna turn on each other. All right, and it's gonna be all hell breaking loose out here, man. But the only people that will be good during that time is the elect. People thrown into prisons, FEMA camps. All right, women ravished. All right, these are the type of things that we about to see. Verse 16, for there shall be a sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Yeah, that's it. All right. So, they're going to be looking to, these different, police, these different political figures, whoever they can get their hands on. All right. They just going to do it. All right. Without any second thought to it. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. This is going into the lockdown. So very soon, Esau is looking to lock everything down, like he did during the whole, C-19 situation. All right. Verse 18, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the house shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And these are the type of times that we coming in, man. A good movie, that we watch, that kind of liken unto the times that we coming into is movies like The Purge, The Book of Eli, things like that. All right, because we coming into them times, man. And if you don't got the Lord, all right, you ain't gonna be like that main character in the movie. All right, you're gonna get caught up being judged. All right, because you chose to scoff and scorn, all right, against the men of the Lord. All right, you chose to worship false idols. All right, continue in your wickedness. All right, so the Lord gonna have your judgment. All right, and those who stick around, all right, after Jacob's trouble, they're gonna get hit with the missiles, which that's the ultimate judgment, going into the second death. All right. So with that being said, Jake watching this, you gotta repent before it's too late. All right, because the Lord ain't playing around, and the prophets, all right, they ain't gonna be out here preaching, forever. All right, but with that, I'd like to give all the honor, the praise, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Rachakodash. Shalom.